अपनी वीडियो कंप्लीट भेजा था वो भेजो तो अभी तो करेंगे
Very good morning, everyone. I'll be presenting the topic disorders of speech, and my moderator is Dr. Mohan Dhyani, sir. So we'll be talking about a little summary about speech and language. Then we'll talk about anatomy of speech, then disorders of speech, aphasia, and schizophrenia. First, speech and language. These are the two terms which we normally use interchangeably, but before proceeding further, we need to understand that both these terms are have different contexts. So speech is the aspect of language that correspond to the mechanical and articulate function that allows language to be vocalized. So we can, in an easy way, we can say that speech is a part of language, or we can say speech is a mechanical part of language. So speech is how we produce words and sounds, whereas language is itself a complex system based on a number of elements, including phonemes, syntactic structures, semantics, prosody, and pragmatics, all designed to aid communication and to encode facts in memory. To make it understand in a better way, these are the elements of language. Phonemes. Phonemes are the most basic sound that are available for use in language. It is the smallest unit of speech, which distinguishing one word from another. For example, if we have to say any word, like we have to say hat, mat, which sounds very similar, but like in a hat and mat, the word element M is there, which separates mat from hat. So this is the smallest unit, which separates one similar sounding words from each other. The second part is the syntax. Syntax is the grammatical part of the language. That is grammar that is allowable combination of words in phrases and sentences and includes the rules that determine words order. Or grammar designates the organization of words and the rule for placing words in an order that makes sense in that language. So syntax means grammatical use in the language so that we can convey our message in a proper way, or in a way in which it is more understandable to the other person. So if I have to eat, then I won't tell that I will eat. I will say I will eat. That is the syntax part of the language. Third part is the prosody. Prosody refers to the modulation of vocal intonation that influences accents and also the literal and emotional meaning of words and sentences. Use of pitch, loudness, tempo, and rhythm in speech to convey our information. So, prosody means if I'm very happy or I have to convey some message for which I'm very excited. So, obviously, my my pitch, loudness, tempo will be increased. It also tells about my attitude and my effect. Like I'll be really elevated at that time. For example, the sentence here, "That was a great game," can mean that the speaker liked the game or the exact opposite, depending on our speaker intonation. Semantics and pragmatic, these are the two words we need to understand because they are very, we can sometimes get confused between these two words. So in an easy way, I can tell you like semantic means are the meaning that correspond to the words and include the meaning of all possible sentences. So semantics, it basically means the literal meaning of the sentence. So if I say like, if someone tells me that अगर मैं ये काम आज करूंगा तो मेरा नाम कल गोल्डन वर्ड्स में लिखा जाएगा, तो व्हाट इज द सिमेंटिक ऑफ दिस मीनिंग इज द लिटरल मीनिंग कि अगर मैं कुछ काम करूंगा तो कल मेरा अच्छा नाम होगा. दैट डजंट मीन दैट मेरा नाम सच में गोल्डन वर्ड्स में लिखा जाएगा. So that semantic is the literal meaning of the sentence, whereas pragmatic of language is the study of the ways that language is used in the practice. It refers to the multiple potential meaning of any utterance, which requires knowledge of context and of the speaker for full interpretation. So pragmatic can mean the context, जो contextual meaning होती है of the sentence, whereas semantic means the actual meaning of the language. So we'll come to the anatomy of speech. There are two areas, Broca's and Wernicke's. Broca's areas are located in the left hemisphere, is associated with speech production and articulation, whereas the Wernicke's area is a critical language area in the posterior temporal lobe connects to Broca's area via neural pathway. Wernicke's area is primarily involved in comprehension. So these two areas, they work in combination. So Broca's areas will help in the speech delivery, whereas Wernicke's area is the area which help us in understanding the input or the comprehension. So if any input is there, so this Wernicke area will help us in the comprehension, where it will then further relay the message of output, which will be delivered by the Broca's area. So Wernicke's and Broca's area, they are connected by arcuate fasciculus. The physiology of speech is like, if any input is there, it can be auditory input or visual input. It is then delivered to a Wernicke's area. Wernicke's area is the comprehension area where we understand what input we get, and then if through articulate fasciculus, it is delivered to the Broca's area, which is for area 44-45, where from where the output is given in form of speech. Then the disorders of speech. First, we'll talk about aphonia and dysphonia. Aphonia is the loss of the ability to vocalize. The patient talks only and whispers. Aphonia may also occur without organic disease and dissociative aphonia. So in this aphonia, the patient is not able to vocalize, or he's not able to speak anything. He'll be just talking in whispers. Whereas dysphonia denotes impairment or with wholeness, but without complete loss of function. So in dysphonia, we can speak, but our voice will be very hoarse. It can be seen in paralysis of the ninth nerve or diseases with vocal cords. So in dysphonia, we have the ability to speak, but there might be some other cause which is not letting us to speak. Whereas aphonia, the patient is not completely able to speak at all. Aphasia. Aphasic language production is characterized by errors of grammatic structures, difficulty in word finding, and the presence of word substitution. There are several types of aphasia with effect. So in aphasia, what happens that people either they do a lot of mistake in the syntax part, or they take a lot of time in so they will be pause present. So they will take a lot of time in finding any words, or they will present a word substitution. So what happened in this word substitution? What normally we use, they will substitute the word with some abnormal words, and which completely changes the meaning of the sentence. So the most common types of aphasias are Broca's aphasia, Wernicke's aphasia, and anomic aphasia. In Broca's aphasia, also known as non-fluent aphasia. So the Broca's area is this area which help us in the delivery of the speech. So Broca's aphasia or expressive aphasia is when people find it very difficult to find and say the right word, although they probably know what exactly you want to say. So in their comprehension is completely intact. They know what they have to say. Just that their impairment of the Broca's area will not let him speak what they want to. People with Broca's aphasia may only be able to say a single word or very short sentence, although it's usually possible for other people to understand what they mean. The features of Broca's aphasia are severely reduced speech, often limited to short utterance or of less than 4 words, limited vocabulary, and difficulty in writing. But the ability to read and understand is there because their comprehension is intact. Next is Wernicke's aphasia. Here the comprehension is distorted because there can be any due to any disturbance in our Wernicke's area, but our Broca's area is completely intact. Wernicke aphasia or receptive aphasia is when people is able to speak well and use long sentences, but what they say may not make sense because their comprehensive ability is not there. The features of Wernicke's aphasia are impaired reading and writing, and inability to grasp the meaning of spoken words,